Hi, and welcome to Category Management Knowledge Group's weekly Category Management Tip. If you don't know about Category Management Knowledge Group, or CMKG, let me share this with you. We provide category management training solutions that are driven from a foundation of accredited e-learning courses, all created by and facilitated by category management experts. I'm Sue Nicholls, the president and owner of Category Management Knowledge Group. I love everything about category management, and every week I share some of my learnings on category management related topics through YouTube. Our topic for January is private label. Last week, my tip covered the essentials on private label. And this week's tip is about data and analytics that can help retailers and suppliers to better understand the status of private label within a specific category. So let's get started. We're going to focus on two different data sources to complete a private label assessment using retail measurement data and consumer panel data. These data sources will identify Retailer X's private label gaps and opportunities in the category for their hard discount format, and to understand their overall private label brand competition. The retailer can use their share of market to understand their overall private label development in a category compared to national brands. Share of market equals the retailer sales divided by the total market sales. In this example, Retailer X has a 33.7 share of market, or it does 33.7% of category sales within the total market. The national brand share of market of 34.8 is higher than private label's 29.6 share, which indicates that there's an underdevelopment and an opportunity on private label for Retailer X. But this is a very limiting attempt to scorecard private label results for Retailer X. Let me show you why. By adding in a breakout of key national brands, Retailer X can better understand which brands they're most and least developed in compared to total market. In this example, Retailer X has broken out their own private label brand into generic, mid, and premium private label brands. This is instead of clustering together three distinct private label brands that they offer to different consumer groups across their different retail formats. Retailer X gets a much better understanding of which national brands and private label brands are the most and least developed relative to their total category share of market, with red indicating brands that are less developed than the total category share, and green indicating more developed. Now, Retailer X needs to consider the overall strategies of the format or banner, with specific focus on the target consumer for each national brand and private label brand. Their hard discount format is targeted towards large families with low to mid-income levels. Consumer panel data can now help Retailer X to understand which national brands have similar consumer demographics to their own private label brands, to their hard discount format, and to their overall target consumer. In this example, a volume index over 100 means the brand sells more volume in that segment relative to the size of the segment. Highly developed volume indices are highlighted in orange. The objective for Retailer X is to understand which national brands have similar consumer demographics to their premium and generic labels. The generic label consumer is highly developed in large households and mid-income levels, which matches closely with national brand number 4. So this would be their closest competition. Private label premium is highly developed in mid-sized households and high-income households, which matches well with national brands number 1 and 3. If you remember back to our hard discount format strategy, the target consumer is the large household with mid-income. So you can see that generic label is a better match for the hard discount format than the premium private label is. Retailer X can also get more information about how national brands interact with their private label brands through cross-brand interaction. This analysis can be purchased as a subset of consumer panel data, and you can define the geographies and product hierarchies that you want included in the analysis. As an example of how to read this, of the 100% of consumers that purchased national brand number 1, 34.1% of their total category dollars were spent on their brand. This is also known as their loyalty number or their share of requirements. Of those national brand number 1 consumers, 27.2% of them also spent some category dollars on national brand number 3, and 20.3% were spent on private label mid. The gray numbers that you see on the table show each of the brand's share of requirements, which is where the brand intersects itself on the top of the table and on the left. Based on this, private label generic is the most loyal brand, with a 42.8% share of requirements. From here, we can draw some overall observations about the national brands that provide the greatest leakage for both private label mid and generic brands. In net, national brand number 3 and generic are the biggest competitors for private label mid brand, and national brands number 3 and 4 plus private label mid are the biggest competitors for private label generic. Now, Retailer X has a much better understanding of which brands compete with their specific private label brands. And now they can set much more strategic target shares across the private label and national brands within the category in their hard discount format. Rather than targeting all national brands equally to gain market share, they're targeting the ones that they know compete more directly with each of their own brands, based on insights that we've gone through from the panel data. You should now have some ideas on how to analyze retail measurement and consumer panel data to better understand category opportunities for private label. Retailers should selectively choose their battles with national brand manufacturers based on data, not just considering total national brands to be the private label competition. Interaction and demographic data from consumer panel data can give insights into the different brand consumers and competition. Finally, not just retailers need to understand private label. Suppliers need to understand how their brands compete with key private label brands and build strategic plans based on these insights. There must be a compelling value proposition for consumers to buy the national brand instead of the private label brand. So that's it for this week's tip. Next week's session is going to cover some examples of private label tactical analytics now that we understand the private label's key competitors. This will be relevant for both retailers and suppliers. You can also visit and/or subscribe to my blog if you haven't already done so. If you're interested in category management training, please visit our website. We have topics that will help to fill in some of the gaps if you didn't understand all of the examples I showed you today. Finally, we're very active in LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, so please connect with us so you can stay in touch. I hope you enjoyed today's tip. Have a great day.